So Anthropic has launched Fable, and OpenAI has launched their new model, GPT-Soul something, which they say that it's the best right now. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to use my app, LetMeCheck.ai, which I use personally, to make sure that my code is clean. And cleaner code means less tokens, right, while you're building with AI. So I just wanted to run through the app using these new models and see and compare, basically compare the results between these two different models, which does what and which does it better. Okay, so let's get into it. So here I have added a project. So this is my own project, and I've created a branch for LetMeCheck Claude so that I know that this is the one that I'm running with, and we will get the fixes from our app as well, and it gives you a prompt that you can use to fix your code base. So we will run those skills and we will run those prompts only for this particular branch, and then we will run the scan again and see how much it has fixed. Okay, so let us just run a scan now. Okay, it's running the scan. So as you know, it runs the scan in an isolated environment, a completely isolated sandbox. Once the scan is run, it deletes that sandbox so that there is no trace left of your code base. Okay, so it is running the scan. You can see it is doing all that is needed, and you can just see over here exactly what is happening in the background. Okay, so analysis is complete. It shows me 17,000 lines of code, 904 functions. Complexity wise, it is simple, so that's good. Languages, where there are no bugs, there are some security hotspots. So you can see over here, and then we have a lot of code smells, something that we need to fix. Like there is some dead code that we need to remove, because that also affects the performance of the code. Okay, there is nothing critical, so that's good. And test coverage is also low, only 8.8%. Now let us run our free AI powered health report. Okay, so I'm gonna select first from Anthropic. So there are all these models available. I just get it from Open Router. There's nothing extra that I've done. So I'll say Fable 5, and I'll say generate a free report. So basically it will generate a report based on the issues that it sees. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, to personalize, I'll just select I'm a freelance consultant. I use Windsurf. Cool. Okay, really excited to see what this is going to show us. Finalizing your report. Okay, analyzing issues with AI. Okay, I think Fable takes some time, it's a bigger model, so it does. Generating recommendations. Okay, so it says it needs attention. So first thing it says is test coverage is low. This is the top issue. Over 90% of the code has no automated test, meaning changes. Okay, makes sense. And health is 58%, which means it needs work. It's not perfect, it needs work. And then 5 functions are far too complex to safely maintain with the worst in the chart component. Okay, good. What is the quick summary? There are zero confirmed bugs and zero vulnerabilities. Yeah, however, the code carries significant maintenance risk. Yeah, so this is something that we have noticed with a lot of code bases, like especially if it is AI generated, even if it is done by SWEs, like software engineers who are experienced, they still have this maintainability risk. Okay, and then it is giving me a breakdown like this: overly complex chart rendering function. Okay, good. Now it says I can download a skill file over here. We can actually get a skill file from here. So let me download a skill file. Let me click on it. So it actually generates a skill file, and then it will share it with us, and then we will add it to our agent and see what is the result. Like, very excited to see that as well. Okay, this is for the test coverage. I did a lot of research. I spent months on figuring out what is the right kind of test case to write, because if you just ask AI to write a test case, many times it just hallucinates, and sometimes it just hard codes value to make it the skill. I'm going to download the prompt, and then we will run it in our coding agent. Okay, now let's move to our coding agent. That's that your AI coding doesn't follow, but yeah, so you can definitely use an LLM to fix it. So we got an agent skill for the test coverage from Claude. Let us see what Soul does for us and how does that look like, and then we will execute that in our coding agent on this particular branch and see if it makes any difference. Okay, so here we have a skill file for raising the automated test coverage, and I see looks quite comprehensive, and it has taken a customized view over the exact code. So this is not a general skill file, but it is specific to the code base, which is in a way the USP of LetMeCheck.ai, because it can give you a skill file according to your code base and the problems that you are facing, not a general skill file from the internet. Yeah, so I'm gonna just download this, and then we'll run it, and then there's an agent prompt as well. So this prompt is also specific to the issues that you have in the code base and specific to the skill that you want to run. So whenever you will run this prompt, your coding agent will identify the particular skill and then run through it. Okay, so we're going to do that and see how it works, and then we're going to run the scan again and see exactly what happens. So stay tuned. Okay, so now it's showtime. We have the skill file and we have the prompt. So we're going to run the prompt now. In Devin, you can just go here and you can configure skills, and then you can just add the skill file. So see, I have added the skill file that I downloaded over here, and now the next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the prompt that I got, and I'm thinking of using like a cheaper model. Okay, so this was the prompt. I'm gonna add here and just say execute. Now let's see what it does. Read this code. Okay, it also read the skill file. Okay, understand the skill file structure. It's understanding the repository structure. Okay, it is analyzing everything. That's cool. Okay, so I already had some test files. Okay, that is why we had 8.8 percentage. It's going through that and seeing which all test files and functions are already there. Okay. And so it's exploring because it already has the skill file and it knows what has to be done. So it is going to start executing it. I was creating a to-do list. Okay. Housekeeping. Uh-huh. Good. Cool. Extracting pure function testable module. Okay. So that's the thing. Another thing about unit testing, right? Not everything can be tested. So your code has to be testable to be tested. So I think that is what exactly what it is doing. It is now extracting the code into smaller modules so that it can be tested. Cool. That's cool. This is the branch which is going to make the change. So yeah, it is now writing the tests. That's nice. So while this is running, I want to ask you, like, which agent do you use? Please add it in the comments. And more importantly, what do you do when your agent is actually running the code? Like, do you scroll? Do you check your LinkedIn? Or do you do something else? I think it's writing a very comprehensive test because now it is understood. It has a procedural knowledge of how to write a unit test. It's doing that. Okay, now it's starting to write the test cases for another file. Let me just open one of the tests and see what it is doing. Okay, constant. Compute scan fixes. Computes positive fixes when current counts are lower than previous. So it's mocking some data, current and previous. And then it is running that particular function. And then it has some assertions, basically what it expects. So this is how it will read. When we run the test, it will read like this. Compute scan fixes, compute positive fixes when current counts are lower than previous. And then second, return zero fixes when nothing is improved, clamps to zero when issue increased to negative fixes, handles missing undefined metrics by default into zero, handles both current and previous fixes. Okay, this is really cool. And there's this function, get confirmed issues count. Oh, nice. Count all issues that do not have to be retrieved. Nice, nice. Okay, now it is asking me to run the test. Let's do that. Okay, one failed. Let's see what has failed. One test failed. It caught a real bug in get JSON of issue. The available actions field has an operator precedence, evaluates issue transitions instead of issue transitions. So it returns raw. You see, when you write a test, you actually find, sometimes you also find issues in the code, which have been missed. So it has fixed it over here. Let's write it. Good. Good. I'm glad I did this because it actually found an issue in the code and it fixed it. Now, okay. Performing mutation checks on key tested functions. I'll mutate one condition at a time and test the result. Okay. That mutation was equivalent. Yeah, so this is something that you need to do when you're writing tests, right? You have to test with multiple different kind of scenarios. Uh, it's a vital aspect. Test got the mutation, two failures. Mutation two. Okay, so it was able to catch the failures. Test got the mutation. Okay, cool. So it's running mutations for more of the responses. Good. So test is able to catch the mutations or the changes that you're making. Nice. All mutations are reverted, and now it's going to run the full test suite. Cool. Great. Great. Yeah, so this is really cool, you know. So you use a expensive model to do the skill for you, and then you use the cheaper model to actually execute that skill for you. Great. Great. Summary. So applied race test coverage skill, amazing. And it went through each and every phase that was needed. That is brilliant. And coverage is filtered, prioritize, generate, validate, mutate, repair, scale. Amazing. Now we should push this to Git and see if it improves our sonar coverage. Okay, let's do that. I'll just ask my agent to that. Push the changes we made to Git branch. Okay, I'm really excited. So check this. I see that it is putting the git ignore, it is pushing the test files that we created. Right. Nice. Push, push, push. Yeah, perfect. Now let's check what happens when we run the scan again on LetMeCheck. Okay, so here we go. This is our branch. So I'm gonna run a scan again. So now when I run the scan again, this should change, right? So our expectation is that our test coverage would improve. You know, just want to remind you again, like the changes we made now are the skills that we created using Claude's Fable. Okay, we are going to do this again with the skills that are generated by GPT, and then we are going to compare which one gives like improved results, right, when it comes to test coverage or bug fixing or stuff like that. Okay, okay, we have the new report, and we can see over here that now test coverage is 9.6%, and the code smell has also decreased 9.6%, means from 8.8 we went to 9.6. Yeah, so there was an improvement for sure. And regenerate. I'm going to use Fable like I used earlier. Fable. There is an improvement in the code smells, it is reduced. There is an improvement in the test coverage. Now let's see what the analysis has to say using Fable. Okay, it has improved now. 6 hour health is 62%. Remember earlier it was in 50s. And extremely low test coverage means most of the code generators are breaking. +1 issues of rescan. But the good news is there are no confirmed bugs. But I think the other issues are now gone, which we had regarding the test coverage. As you can see now that after we run the scan again, we see that the code smells have reduced by 19 and the test coverage has increased by 0.8%. So this is a proof that the skill file that we're generating is working, and it's just not this once, so now if you go back again to your agent and if you ask it to write a test case, it will always go to that skill file and will make sure that there's a test case written. It will also make sure that if a new function is developed, it also automatically creates a test file for it, so that that code, the piece of code that is written, is always tested. Okay. So now I think the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to run this for LetMeCheck GPT. So here you see 148 and this 88.8, risk is 42. We will see once we run using GPT's provided skill file, how much does that improve. Okay, let's wait for that and see. Okay, now it's time we are going to check OpenAI generated skill files work, and we have the skill file over here that I have added the prompt that was generated using GPT's 5.6 Soul. And here, okay, I think the only thing that I need to do is I need to switch this to GPT. Yeah, so that the changes are applied on the GPT model and not on my code. Oh, so as you can see, we are now in the LetMeCheck GPT branch, and now we are going to run the prompt and make use of the skill that we have provided, and then see how it works and creates the test cases for us, and how much does it improve our overall code quality. So let's go ahead and do that. You see, I'm going to use GPT 5.6 Soul Medium, which is like an expensive one. Let's see how fast it is, or like how efficient it is. Let's see the file or restore. Okay, it's running some tests. Please note that all the test files that we created earlier were in separate branch, so you will not see it here. So this is something that is happening from scratch. So now it is checking and testing what already works and what doesn't. Mhm. behavioral tests for visible outcomes and exact issue payloads while leaving production behavior unchecked. Like, exactly, this is what we want to do. Okay. Yeah, see, this is a use case as well. I can go ahead and easily recharge Windsurf and run it, but I really want to see that how we can save money, right, while developing, and especially for fixing technical debts. I don't want to spend all our money in fixing technical debts. You should also understand that we have the LLM. It takes in a lot of context, and if the code is not clean and has a lot of messed up stuff, it becomes more and more difficult for LLM to work, and it exhausts more of your tokens. Good. Yeah, it's so cool to see agent working on itself, right? Like, I just wonder, what do you usually do when the agent is working? You're like thinking of what are you going to do next, or you're thinking of like um, some functional requirements, or you're thinking of what you're going to eat. I don't know. Usually I would be like on my Twitter or LinkedIn checking out what's happening in the world of AI. Yeah, a lot of exciting things happening right now. Like, I think there is this new thing called as yapping that people do, and I think for us developers, we can actually do that. Yeah, we can yap a lot and talk about like what all things the agent is doing. Right now I'm seeing it doing stuff that I would have not thought of doing for my code, until and unless like someone came and told me that your code quality is not up to the mark, you have to improve it. Oh my god, this time it is going to do 10 tasks. It looks like the skill file has given this particular model a lot to do. So let's see. Okay, it found something. Export helper functions from the dashboard. Let me read relevant section. Okay, so it found something which was not working in my code, and now it is exporting that. Interesting. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, you see what it's doing here. Also need to export extended project interface so tests can use it. See, this is also the thing. A lot of time AI generates code that is not testable, and with this particular skill file that I am that Let Me Check creates, it makes sure that it is taking into consideration all the principles of testing. And for testing, the most important principle is that it should be testable. You have to make your code modular so that it can be tested easily in patterns. I cannot believe that with a free model I'm able to do this much. I think if I would have asked the free model to generate test cases, it wouldn't have been doing it so well. So this procedural knowledge that Let Me Check is giving over here is of real value. I really love how it creates the life cycle in the skill filter. Nice. Skip targets that add little regression protection. It makes sense, right? You don't need to test stuff that like DTOs, interfaces, you know, prioritization, testing disorder, people critical, authentication, yeah, authorization permission is so cool. P3 medium, branching, data transformation, conditional branches is P2 high, nice. Increased priority of for high systematic complexity. Nice. This something that I like. It gives you the file name, exactly the file which needs to be tested. And this is something you'll not find in the generic skill files available out there, right? So this one knows the context of your code before it is creating it. Nice. Okay. Preserve these constraints. Do not mock the function, component, or context. Mock only external boundaries. Use the repositories, real exports. Yeah. See, all of these things, then validate. So you have your filter, prioritize, generate, then validate, which is very important. Then mutate, verify that the new tests protect the intent and logic. Means it's an isolated working tree or temporary patch. Change one covered condition such as this or swap error ban, so that you know that it fails, which is very very important. Say for example something is hard coded, that will not fail, right? So run the focus test, then repair. If mutation survives or coverage remains insufficient, strengthen the exact assertion, add missing edge cases, and then last is stop. Then you have fix related issues, which is format or lint. Yeah, this is also needed. You need formatting and linting. Run the test before. Ah, this is amazing. Verify the fix. Yeah, I think we will make another video to compare how both differ, the two skills, how they differ, and what do they ask us to do. It's like really cool. Expected outcome. Ask you to then go commit it and then test it in LetMeCheck dashboard, which is something that we will do. Expected outcome, verification checkers. There's a checklist also. They are amazing. And there are some prompts as well that are provided which you can try. Nice. Nice. I love it. I really love it. Okay. We found this issue when we were running tests with Claude as well. It means that this is a valid issue in the code base that both the scans have identified. Both the tests have identified. May it be Anthropic's Claude model or may it be GPT model, both have identified. Nice. I think it did more files compared to, to what we had in Claude. I see that it had changes made, 69 tests for summary. So I think it covered more files than what was covered by the skill generated with Fable. Okay, will success. Nice. It has more files. 0%. So this is the summary. It's important. We get ignored, done. Dashboard export helper function for testing. Super cool. Scan results. Dot bug fix. And then you have fix operator precedence. Let's see what changes made. This is really cool. Scan results was a bug fix. New test files created for these many files. Or file coverage gains. Okay. Commit these changes and push to Git branch. Ooh, excited to see. Sorry. Okay. Pushed. Let's go ahead and check how the scan looks like. Okay, we are back to let me check dashboard. And so with the branch that we created for Claude specific skills, we saw that this is what was the improvement. We had 19 lesser code smells, the test coverage had improved. Now we are going to see how much improvement we have for the code quality by running it the scan on this branch. It's running this codes. All the code scan happens on a independent sandbox, and the code is downloaded there. It's cloned there. We run the scan, and then that entire sandbox is deleted. There is no trace left of your code. Yeah, so this is completely safe. At the same time, if you want it to be done on your local, we also have a system where we can give you this code and you can run it locally. And the most important part is the visibility, right? So while the scan is running, I just want to share with you, so people or founders, they want to see what is happening inside the code, right? Earlier there were developers who were doing code for you, and you had some way to like check with them what is being done. Right now we want to do the same. We have more and more people coding with AI and AI agents. So it has become more and more important to see exactly what AI is producing, and that was the main reason why we did this. So okay, the scan is going to complete. Let us see what it has done. Okay, amazing. I see that we have some improvement. There are lesser code smells, and the test coverage is also more. With what? With skill? With GPT. Okay, so this means that GPT is our clear winner. Let us try to regenerate a scan and see what it does. So yeah, I do see some improvement over here, but I don't see maybe I have to refresh the screen to see them. Ooh, okay, it is still at risk. Not that great. There's an improvement, but the total risk factor has not changed. For GPT, yeah, see, 23 lesser code smells. Test coverage has improved by 3.4%. Okay. I think the next video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to download this particular skill, the complexity one, and try to fix more of those. Let's just compare. So this side you have 125. Here you have, oops, this branch keeps changing. Here you have 129. Means, and test coverage is 9.6, and there you have 12. Means GPT is a clear winner. Okay, so if you like this video and if you liked the kind of content I make, please do follow and subscribe, or whatever channel where you are seeing this. But most importantly, go ahead and check LetMeCheck.ai. It's an app that I have made. I use it myself, and it is the reason why I get so many customers and clients to work with me, because I give them visibility, I give them code quality, right? And I want you also to be able to do that.